Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. Want to give our praises to you. How Hashem, how Shai, Hashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, honors to all the brothers in this truth. Try to bear with me. I'm going to try to get in the spirit on this one. This is going to be called simply the importance of Revelations chapter 15. If you don't know. So we're going to jump straight into it and just read Revelations 15 first and then kind of just try to go into the spirit. Ain't going to grab too many precepts just to break it down because Revelations 15 is very important. Every time I read it, it gets me in the spirit. It hits me in the spirit, because this is what we praying for. This is what we want. This is a prophecy too. This is gonna come true. The world's about to be tested right now. And one of the ways that the world's gonna be tested is with the MOTB. So in order to get the victory over the MOTB, the Lord has to choose you, and for us to get that victory, whoever the elect to be, we call ourselves the hopefully elect. That's going to be a great glory, because what that means is it means we're going to get the crowns. It means we're going to get salvation. And ultimately, it means that we're going to inherit the kingdom, that glorious kingdom that we all want. And I mean, the biggest thing is we're going to be reunited with our Lord. We're going to go back into that marriage with our Lord. So that's a big thing too, because even being with the Lord, even getting to meet the Lord, see the Lord, the Lord accepting us as his people, right? Once again, that's the best thing. That's the best thing out of the whole thing, and the kingdom is a part of that because it's the Lord's kingdom. We're just joint heirs to the kingdom with the Lord. So Revelation 15 is very spiritual, man. And it shows you and it gives you hope. It gives you spirit and faith that you can overcome the beast. So when times get hard, because they're going to bring in the famine, they're going to bring in the famine is one of the worst things, man. When you can't eat, when there ain't no food, when there ain't no electricity, when there ain't no energy powering your house, and you out there pretty much like Denzel Washington in the Book of Eli. So when that happen, man, you might get low on faith, and a lot of people are going to want to give up. A lot of people are going to go down to the FEMA camps in order to try to get help, because they ain't going to be able to think that they could survive through it. But Revelation 15 is telling you that you can survive through it. And you can overcome the beast and not take the mark and still be okay. But you just got to believe, So let's get straight into it. This is, let me put my book over here. So you guys, so I stay in the camera. This is Revelations 15, verse 1. It says, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous." So this is a great, marvelous thing, man. It says 7 angels having the last 7 plagues, right? For in them is filled up the wrath of God. It says, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire," right? "And them that had gotten the victory over the beast." So that's the key, is getting the victory over the beast. We have not had victory since the transatlantic slave trade over the beast. We have not had a victory over the beast, period, but we had little victories, like the elect waking up, or Abba Bibbins, which we believe is Elijah, reincarnated as John the Baptist, reincarnated as Abba Bibbins. That's the victory of him waking up to this truth and bringing it to what we know and what we have today. Those are like many victories, but we ain't had a victory over the beast completely, because we still got the curses on us of Deuteronomy 28. We still in subjection to the beast. We're still under the beast. Well, I'm just gonna say Esau. We're still under Esau. And these other nations, NATO, the EU, which gives they power, like it says in Revelation 17, which gives they power to the great whore, to the beast altogether, which is Mystery Babylon, which is America, So it feel like it's been so long that we've been under it, and you kind of look and you say, man, when are we going to get out of this? When are we going to break free, man? But we got to wait on it. But it's going to happen, because this is prophecy, what I'm about to read to you. Man, I was downtown, and we stayed at a hotel room, and you just seen all the old Edomites come through. It was like a lot of old. They had their garments on, their suits. They had they suits. If you wearing a suit and a tie, man, that's Esau's garment. They all had it on. They were sharp. It was a lot of Edomites. I guess they had like some type of convention or event that was going on at the hotel that we were staying at, and I was just seeing them, and I was like, man, these people don't even know that their kingdom is going down, that we about to get the victory over them. And then it kind of hurted me a little bit because I was like, man, why my people can't be like this? Why we ain't? You could tell they all was rich. You could tell right off the back they all was rich. They all smell super good, super clean. You know, I'm like, man, where's all the Jakes at? That's and you could tell that they were there not just to party like Jake like to party. They was there like maybe it was like some type of firm or company that was booking the hotels all, and they were all like lobbying together. They was there on big business, and one of their big business probably has something to do with, you already know, condemning or, you know, oppressing the Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American. That's the first thing came to my head. Whatever they hear, whatever they meeting on in the conference room, it probably has something to do that's going to directly oppress or even indirectly oppress the Israelites. You know, that's how they come together. They be at the hotel room, they come together and they have these conferences and they sit down, they talk and they think of ways, and then everything they talk about is going to benefit them as a people. I ain't seen not one Israelite there. Not one black, Latino, or Native American. Just a whole bunch of Edomites. What are they talking about? This your enemy. You gotta worry about that. When you see a whole bunch of Edomites get together, finna have a conference, ain't no niggas in there. You gotta say, oh, what's they finna come up with something. You see what I'm saying? Or they losing their kingdom. Why? Because we about to get that victory, man. This stuff hitting us hard, man. Just they talking about rolling blackouts this summer. Man, that's big. Rolling blackouts for a couple for imagine not having power for a couple days. You ain't going to work. So you gonna miss all that income. So I mean that's tough when you think about it. Imagine they talking about famines, more shortages of everything. They talking about wars. They talking about China possibly going to war with Tijuana. They talking about Russia possibly going in invade Finland. They talking about World War III right around the corner. Man, y'all better get ready, man. This stuff kind of gets you hype in the spirit. Let's keep going. It says, okay, they had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image. So his system. His image is his system, which today they call it the New World Order. The internet of all things, you know, they want to have complete power over the whole world. And that's why you have the problem with Russia and China. Because they want this whole little New World Order thing. And one of the things with this New World Order is going to be this. And over his mark, which is the MOTB. That's going to be their new wave. That's their new image, you know. Everything's going to be digital. In order for you to hook up to a digital system, you have to have these things called chips. Just like your core. It needs a chip to run in it. Just like your computer. Just like your phone. You know. So when they get rid of the money, the fiat currency, and they come with a digital currency, you could use phones, credit cards, but they want to take it even a step farther because they want complete control over you. You know, which is the MOTB. We can't speak on it too much, or I would just say it, you know. It says that over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So what? So are we just standing on glass in the skies and the heavens and the firmaments? No, we're standing. It's the chariots. We're going to be in what the world calls UFOs. Lots of them, or a gigantic big one, and they're going to have windows in them. And we're going to be looking out the windows, and then that's why it's going to look like a lake of fire, because we're going to be looking down from a bird's eye view right onto the ground when the missiles hit, and it's going to look like a lake of fire all over America. It's just going to look like a gigantic lake of fire. Lava, fire, brimstone. You know, so we're actually going to get to witness these nukes go down. Here it is, right? This is the second death, right? Which has come out of way of fire and brimstone. The first death was during the time of Noah, which the Lord flooded the earth. So we ain't really get to witness that first death. We ain't get to see it with our own eyes, the earth being flooded. Imagine an event where you on a UFO chariot and you looking down and you seeing the whole earth be flooded. And then people say, well, the Bible, they don't believe in the Bible. But the Bible tells you about the great flood. And you could clearly go do some research. And there's many scientists and stuff like that that says, yes, the earth was flooded before. The whole earth was flooded. Or majority of the earth was flooded before. They did the research, they didn't travel, and you know they got the proof and the evidence that it reveals that the earth was flooded before, and the Bible talks about it. So it goes right along, you see. But this second death, which is going to come by these nuclear weapons, we're actually going to witness them. We're actually going to witness and see Russia Satan 2 go up into the air, hypersonic, and come down. We're going to see all the missiles get dropped on America. We're actually going to see it, man. Right? And then when we see it, it's gonna be so terrifying. But then at the same time, we gonna be so happy because we gonna understand that that means Esau kingdom is over with and Jacob kingdom follows. That means that we about to get power and rulership over the earth, right? And finally, that wickedness is being destroyed because water is a cleaning agent. So the Lord flooded the earth the first time. He used water as a cleaning agent. This time, fire is also a cleaning agent. So he's going to use fire to clean it. So that means the earth is going to be clean, and then it's going to go back to righteousness because right now it's wicked. People hate us so much, and people think that they want to flip it on us and say that we evil for we stand up for what's righteous. We not evil. All we want is the world to go back to righteousness, right? But the world is wicked, so our righteousness is like it says. What's that in Isaiah chapter 5? Woe to them that call evil good and good evil. So we really good because we want to see the world in righteousness. But we want to see the world ruled and governed by the Lord's law, statutes, commandments. Is that a bad thing? Right? But the world is so wicked that they reject that, so then they call us wicked. You see, that's all we want. That's a great thing to us. So we righteous, man. We just want to see the world ruled in righteousness. Right? Verse 3 says, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God. So during the time of Moses, Exodus, right? They got saved by the Lord out of Egypt. The same thing. They were in slavery, right? The Israelites, and they got saved out of there. Who got saved? The Israelites. The Egyptians ain't get saved. You got the mixed multitude, but what happened to the mixed multitude? They was eventually wiped out, But it was for who? It was for the Israelites to get saved, and it was for the Israelites to make it back to the chosen land during the time of Joshua. Only the Israelites went back. You see? So it's the same thing today. The Lord going to save the elect, and he going to take only the Israelites back. Right? Now, we going to be singing the song of Moses because that song of salvation. Whatever song we going to actually be singing, but we going to be praising the Lord, Matter of fact, I got a precept on it. It says, in the song of the Lamb, right? Because Yahushua, which his name means he delivers, he's going to come back and deliver us. So we're going to be praising him for that. Here, let me jump back right here if I can find it. This is Psalms 149, if I could get to it. 149, verse 1. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song. See how it goes together? We're going to sing to the Lord a new song. It says in his praise, and that's us just giving the Lord praises for what he's about to do. So the Lord destroying America and raining down that fire and brimstone, that's a righteous thing. And we're going to be giving the Lord praises for it. It says in the congregation of his saints, the saints are the Israelites. Verse 2, let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. So we, just like in Revelations 15, we all the way back in Psalms 149. We're going to be praising the Lord, man, for what he about to do. It says, for the Lord taketh pleasure in his people, all people. No, his people. He would beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praise of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. So when we get beamed up and we on those chariots and we watching the destruction play off, the Lord's going to give us power and we going to come back down, and this is what we're going to do. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. So the Lord going to take vengeance by the weight of his people's hands, right? To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with feathers of iron. So there going to be slavery in the kingdom? Yeah, people's going to be bound. The kings are going to be bound with chains and nobles with feathers of iron because they're going to run into their bunkers. And, they going to run outside of America. If anybody in America, if you ain't the elect, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be wiped off. No man's ever going to live on this land again, dwell in this land again. But the elite, of the earth, these Edomites, they could run outside America and go to special bunkers and stuff like that to try to hide the destruction. But the one thing they can't get away from is when we come back down with that spiritual power, we're going to hunt them down. And then that's when we're going to bind their kings and their nobles with feathers of iron. It says to execute upon them the judgment written. So that's a righteous thing. Now you got these other guys in these other camps, right? They say they think that we wicked because we say that we're gonna get to take them in slavery, the Edomites. But the prophecy is that this is going to happen. This is a righteous thing, right? It says dishonor. It says dishonor. This is an honor. Have all his saints praise ye the Lord. Why are we praising the Lord? Why is it saying kings are going to be bound with chains and nobles with feathers of iron, and there's going to be vengeance on the heathen in punishment upon the people? But then at the same time, it's saying praise the Lord for this because it's a righteous thing, man. You got to get your head out your ass, man, and stop thinking Americanized. Revelation 18 come up out of her so you don't receive her plagues, man. If you don't come up out of her mentally, then you're going to be joined into her and you're going to receive the plagues when they come. And you're going to get judged too. You got to come into the truth. You got to come into the light fully. You can't be on the fence with it either, man. Right? So this is going to be a very honorable thing. So we're going to come down, and those ones that did survive, you know, your elites that did survive, we're going to go find them where they at. They going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom. We going to take them to the kingdom, and then that's when you get Isaiah 60. That's when you get Isaiah 61. They going to build up our kingdom. They going to be our handmaids, our servants. We going to take captives those that took us in captivity. Isaiah 14. Here, let me pull another one real quick that goes along with that one, and then I'll jump back to Revelations 15. Now you could better understand Daniel chapter 7 verse 18 when it says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and shall possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. We're going to take the kingdom. The Lord's going to come back, destroy them. In the heavens, you got the war in the heavens. The Lord going to destroy their militaries. You got the nuclear weapons dropping, which is going to destroy they countries, their kingdom. And then you got the elect that's going to come back down and take the survivors and take the whole world in subjection under us. We're going to take the whole world. We're going to have our power, our rulership, our kingdom on earth. It's going to be our turn to rule, man. Right? So it's the same thing like when I was seeing those Edomites down there, right? All those Edomites. And I was like thinking to myself, like, damn, they in power right now. You can still see it. They in power. Right? You ain't got a whole bunch of Israelites coming together to have conferences on, you know, at hotel rooms in a small city like this. So this probably happened in all the cities around America, and coming together have conferences, and they pretty much, you know, trying to figure out how they going to stay in rulership, because we not even in rulership, you see. But in the kingdom, it's going to finally be our turn. You know, it's finally going to be our turn. That's what's going to be glorious about it. You know, let me get some more on this. I left off in verse 3. I'll redo it. It says, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name, right? For thou art holy, for all nations to come up and worship before thy feet, for the kingdom are made manifest. So they take this and say, look, all nations are going to worship before the Lord's feet. And then what they say is that mean all nations could be saved. That does not mean that. It says all nations are going to worship before the Lord's feet. Of course, right? Because just like Esau made you worship Santa Claus, does that mean that you're in rulership? No, you're in slavery, but you still worshiping their false god, Santa Claus. You see? But we're going to make the whole world worship who? The true Lord. And they're going to follow our laws, because just like you got to go 50 in a 50 mile per hour mile zone. If you don't, then you get pulled over and get a ticket. They force us to follow their laws. So just like our laws, or the law, statutes, commandments are going to be written in our hearts. So we're not going to sin or die, because we're going to be made perfect. Right? But we're going to force these other nations to follow our law, statutes, and commandments too. Does that mean that they're inheriting the kingdom? That they're going to be in rulership in the kingdom? That they're going to be saved from the destruction? It doesn't mean that. And we'll prove it. Just in case you said, well, no. We approve it, right? This is, if I could get to it. Zachariah 14. And this also goes with Revelation 15, because it goes with the fire and the brimstone. Right here, verse 12. And it should be a plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. What can make your flesh and your eyes, your tongue, and everything consume away? What would you call that? That's a nuclear weapon. When it comes down, do a little research on the bombs that got dropped in Japan. You have a thing called shadow people. Why? Because when the bomb dropped, their bodies got evaporated, but it left like a shadow of ash on the stairs or wherever they was sitting. And you could still see the figure of their body, but ain't nobody there, but you could still see the figure there because they got evaporated, just like your tongue getting evaporated from the heat, the radiation, the fire blast from when the nuclear missile comes down and explodes. Let's keep going. Oh, sorry, I flipped all the way back. Verse 13, and it should come to pass in the day that a great atonement from the Lord should be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. What do we always say? You're going to have purge. You're going to have purge in the street. Famines, wars. All hell breaking loose. 2nd Esdras chapter 15. Matthew chapter 24. Right? Verse 14 says, and Judah shall also fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel in great abundance. So wait, the Lord going to let us take all the gold and silver? Because really it belongs to us. It really was taken from us. Because it belongs to the Lord. If it comes from the earth, it belongs to the Lord. And the Lord's people are the Israelites, so it belongs to us. All of it. Right? So the Lord gonna give us all their gold and everything, but then he gonna save them with us too, and then they gonna get it back. That don't make no fucking sense, man. He's gonna take the gold from them because they finna get judged, and he gonna give it to his chosen people, the Israelites. Right? Verse 15, it says, and so shall it be the plague of the horse and the mule and the camel and of the ass and all the beasts that shall be in these tents as the plague. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came up against Jerusalem should even go up from year to year to worship the King and the Lord of hosts and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You see? So it says, just like in Revelation 15, they're going to have to come up and worship the King. But it's not talking about them getting all the gold and the money and the rulership of the earth and inheriting the kingdom or getting saved. It didn't say nothing about that. It just said, look, they gonna have to come up and worship. And this tells you that they're gonna actually have to and be in subjection to do. It says, verse 17, and it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth into Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of the hosts, even upon them should be no rain. So they're gonna be punished if they don't come up and worship. So it's showing you a difference between the Israelites, right? Because Israelites aren't going to be punished because we're going to be in our kingdom. So we're not going to be punished. We're going to follow these laws perfect. But it's still showing you that even in the kingdom, the other nations is making a separation. They could be punished if they don't come up and worship. So yeah, they're going to have to worship, but they could be punished if they don't. So it's showing you a difference. Which means what? They didn't inherit the kingdom. They're going to be in subjection and captivity in the kingdom. Right? And I'll prove it even more. Just in case, if you still on the fence. If you still kind of just on the fence. Well, no. They going to be saved with us. Right? If you still on the fence. No, that doesn't mean that. If they worship the king, that mean that they could be one with Israel. That bullshit. That's not true. This is Isaiah 60. Right? Verse 11. And it goes right along with Zachariah 14. And it goes right along with Revelations 15. This all goes along perfect, and that's how you know it's true. That's how this how you know I'm not making it up, because I'm proving it to you. Right? Isaiah 60, verse 11. Therefore thy gates should be open continually. How? Why? Didn't it just tell you in Zachariah, and all the way in the book of Zechariah 14, it just told you why. Because we're gonna take that gold, that silver, the gold, or anything of greatness, of glory. We're gonna be taking it. So we're gonna have our gates open so they could bring the things to us to give to us. It says they should not be shut day or night, and it's going to prove it. Just in case you're still on the fence, right? That man may bring into thee the forces of the Gentiles, and their kings may be brought. Wait, their kings may be brought? Oh, damn. Now that links back to Psalms 149 that I just read. What did it say? It said their kings will be bound, and their nobles with feathers of iron, meaning they're going to go into slavery, right? So how could these people be saved with us when their kings are going to be bound? It says, verse 12, for the nation and kingdom that would not serve thee shall perish, yet those nations shall utterly be wasted. Right? Because even if they could be saved, then that mean the kings could be saved. Because remember, when King David sinned, the whole nation of Israel was finna feel it. So you got to bear the burden of your king. Just like we got to bear the burden of our king, Yahushua. We got to bear our cross the same way that he had to. That's why we're under the curses. That's why through much tribulation we must enter the kingdom of heaven. Because he entered. He sat on the right hand of the Lord, but he had to go through much tribulation. Right? In order to go up there and take, and now the kingdom is his, right? So we got to go through what our king went through. So no, they can't be saved. Their kings are going to be bound. They got to go through what their kings got to go through. So if their kings go in captivity, guess what that means? That means their whole nation is going into captivity. Every single one of them. Right? And it tells you, verse 12, for the nation and the kingdom that would not serve thee. Wait, you said that y'all telling us that they could be saved with us. It said nation and the kingdom that would not serve us. They contradict in the Bible. It says, shall perish. Yeah, those nations should utterly be wasted, which goes back to Zachariah 14. They're going to have to serve us, and how they're going to serve us? By being in captivity under us, and they're going to be under our power, meaning they're going to be under our laws and our statutes and commandments. So they're going to have to worship our king, right? And they're going to have to serve us too. They're going to have to serve our king, Yahushua the Lord, and they're going to have to serve us too. And if they don't, then it says they're going to be wasted, which is the same thing as Zechariah 14 that says they should utterly be punished and have no rain if they don't come up to worship. You know, so we kind of got into that. Let's finish off Revelations 15. Verse 5, it says that after that I looked to behold the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open. It says, and the 7 angels came out of the temple having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, having their breasts girdled with golden girdles, right? So just glorious, man. We gonna actually see this. I know I'm ready, man. Right? It says, and one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden veils full of the wrath of God who liveth forever and ever. The Lord coming with great wrath, man. And one of the biggest things of this wrath is nuclear weapons, man. You read about it in Revelation chapter 8. These nuclear weapons are going to destroy the earth. And the chariots are going to come down and go to war too, man. And then you got famines, man. You got all type of plagues, right? It says, in one of the 4, no, sorry, I already read that. Verse 8, and the temple was filled with the smoke, right? From the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. And we're very close. We're very close to all the prophecies being fulfilled. The last big prophecies. The biggest is the Lord coming back. You have the MOTB. You have the destruction by nuclear warfare. Right? You have like it says in Daniel chapter 12, you have a time like never before. That's going Jacob's trouble. You know, so these are some of the biggest prophecies that still have to happen. And then you have us inheriting the kingdom. That's a big prophecy too, us inheriting the kingdom and everything that comes along with that. You know, so, and that's kind of what Revelation 15 kind of is breaking down. You know, so with that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.